Happy Victory Monday, Steelers Nation. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the latest when it comes to the state of the Steelers quarterback situation. Has Justin Fields earned himself the long-term starting quarterback job here in Pittsburgh? Should the Steelers still consider going back to Russell Wilson? I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of both guys today. I'll break down where I'm at in terms of this competition here in Pittsburgh. But before we get into the quarterbacks today, we do have Steelers Talk Live. It's starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about yesterday's game. We're going to be previewing this week's game, Week 3 versus the Los Angeles Chargers for the home opener for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have a bunch of great stuff, man. We're going to have people in there. We're going to have Super Chats, promotions, all the stuff we usually have on our Steelers Talk Live shows. So if you want to join the largest live community for Steelers fans here on YouTube, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. We are only 120 subscribers away from 60,000. So if we can get there today, I'd really appreciate it. We have Steelers videos on here every single day. We go live 3 times a week, and we are the largest individually run Steelers news channel here on YouTube. And that's because of your guys' support. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button to never miss a video. So let's start here with this. I think Justin Fields, through the first 2 games, has proven to be a serviceable starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, the team is 2-0. Obviously, the team is moving the football generally okay at this point. And I think that the stats show that Justin's actually done a pretty good job at being a decent game manager. And that's what the Steelers want from their quarterback. They want somebody that's protecting the football. They want somebody that's capable of hitting a big play every once in a while, converting on a 3rd and long every once in a while. And that's what Fields has done. Almost a 70% completion percentage. Easily the best start to a season in his career from a completion percentage standpoint. He's only had 273 yards in 2 games. I mean, usually that's something you see from like a good quarterback in 1 game. Obviously, he's been a little bit limited in that regard. He only has 1 touchdown pass. Now, there was one yesterday that was taken away because of an OPI from Van Jefferson. All right, we do have to say that. But the big number there is 0 interceptions, which is a big reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at 2-0 right now. I think Justin has played perfectly fine. And what I'm liking on Justin Fields' tape right now through these first 2 games is, like I said, he's protecting that football. That is the main thing Kenny Pickett did when he was here, and why the Steelers were able to win with him at quarterback. It's because the defense would dominate, and no, they wouldn't really move the football, and no, they wouldn't really get the ball in the end zone, but he would protect the football, and that's why this team can win with this type of game manager type quarterback. I also like that he can create stuff with his legs after the play breaks down. Plus, you can use him in the QB run game. I like what they're doing with him in that regard. And then he is legitimately delivering on some shot plays down the field. He's got some really impressive downfield accuracy, particularly when throwing to George Pickens. His connection with GP is legit, and that is very apparent at this point in time. There's a great throw that he had yesterday against the Broncos that was pulled back because of a Broderick Jones holding call. It was one of the best throws I've ever seen from an NFL quarterback, rolling to his right, throwing a dart on the run, full speed to George Pickens down the field. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. So I do like some of the things that I'm seeing from Justin Fields at this point in time. So let me know how you're feeling about Fields through the first 2 weeks. Your greatest performance through the first 2 weeks of the year. Obviously, the Steelers are 2-0, but they haven't scored 20 points yet. So let me know, A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So I think something that we need to remember, though, is that even though Justin Fields has played generally pretty well, and obviously he's been played well enough to win these first 2 football games, Russell Wilson was named the initial starting quarterback for this football team. So what that means moving forward for Justin Fields here is that the burden of proof is on him. He needs to prove that this offense and this team is going to be serviceable and that they can win comfortable football games here, and that he is the best option for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they're not going to go to Russ at all, because there's still that looming question as to whether Russell Wilson is going to be the better option. Maybe this team, instead of scoring 15.5 points per game in the 2 games with Fields, maybe they get that number up to 20, 21, 23 points a game with Russell Wilson. You just don't know that question at this point. And, I just don't know if Fields has done enough to truly solidify himself as that true number 1 option at this point in time. And the main reason for that is the lack of offensive production in terms of points. All right, you look at right now through the first 2 games, now obviously smaller sample size, okay, 15.5 points for the Steelers through the first 2 games. They scored 18 in week 1, scored 13 on Sunday versus the Broncos. And that's less than what the Steelers had last year with Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. And that number, the 17.9 points per game last year for the Steelers, ranked 28. So this is an extremely low number of offensive production. And you have to wonder, is this sustainable with Justin Fields under center? And the reality is, at this point, that the Steelers are winning football games right now because of the defense. They're not winning these games because of Justin Fields. They're winning these games with Justin Fields, just like they were winning with Kenny Pickett last year, like they were winning with, like I said, the quarterbacks last year, and the defense was dominating. That's currently what the Steelers are doing with Justin Fields. So, can you maybe make these games a bit more comfortable with Russell Wilson? That's still the question that looms out there, especially with this team failing to get to 20 points per game. Now, I will acknowledge that, the lack of offensive production is not necessarily all Fields' fault. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of penalties. 19 penalties as a team the first 2 weeks is just not going to cut it, man. And penalties have clearly been a factor. I mean, they took away multiple big-time throws for Justin Fields yesterday. Took away a third down conversion. Took away that awesome throw to George Pickens. Took away a touchdown yesterday because of penalties. So you can't have the Justin Fields discussion here without acknowledging that penalties have certainly played a part in the lack of offensive production, keeping the team off schedule. But another thing that I think is worth mentioning here that's not Fields' fault is that the wide receivers just aren't getting open, not named George Pickens. I mean, you look at the wide receivers on the Steelers roster right now, not named George Pickens. Through the first 2 games, they have 5 catches for 28 yards. And that's not including Pat Freiermuth, who is pretty much your number 2 receiver at this point. But Calvin Austin III, Van Jefferson, Ben Skoranek, all the other guys on this roster not named George Pickens, they're not doing anything for this Steelers offense right now. And that could be holding this team back as well. But like I said, the unanswered question for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense right now that I want an answer to is, will this offense look better with Russell Wilson? Like, if you have an opportunity with Russ to get this offense up to 20, 21, 23 points per game, and it's just a slight upgrade, I want to get that answer, right? And I really, really want to get that answer. And to be clear, that might not be the answer, right? Russell Wilson might come in and stink. Maybe this offense is even worse with Russell Wilson. That is certainly a possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. I want to make that abundantly clear. And maybe this offense, with the receivers that we have, with the run game and all the different stuff, maybe this offense is just going to be limited no matter what quarterback is in there. Maybe Justin Fields is the better option because he can make plays outside of structure, because he is better with his legs, because you can do more things in the rollout game, right? Maybe Justin Fields is the better option, but right now that specter still looms of whether or not Russell Wilson is the better quarterback, and I want to find out the answer to that question. Unless Justin Fields comes out next week against the Chargers and lights it up, gets up to 20 points plus and wins the football game, I at least want to see what this offense looks like in Russell Wilson, to see if this offense can get up to above 20 points per game, because if this team does that, this defense is definitely good enough to get to 11, 12, 13 wins this year. It really is that good of a defense this year. And by the way, guys, if Russell Wilson fails with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year and the offense is worse with Russ, you can just go back to Fields. You know you have a winning product here with Fields at quarterback, but maybe with Russ you can win a bit more comfortably than you are at this current point in time, and I want to get an answer to that question. But Jack, I hear you saying at home, what can Russ bring to the table that Justin Fields cannot? I hear this all the time, right? Justin can do all these different things with his legs and his arm. What does Russell Wilson bring to the table that Fields doesn't? Well, I will let you guys know what Russ could bring to the table that maybe Fields doesn't in just a second here. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we know that watching a Steelers game at Acrisure Stadium, especially in the wintertime when it's cold and the terrible towels are flying, there's just nothing like it, man. There's nothing, you just can't get the same experience watching the game on your couch. And I know tickets are expensive, but lucky for you, our friends at Game Time have a brand new filter on their app called Game Time Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, and you can go see the Steelers play more often. So here is how Game Time Picks works, guys. You go into the Game Time app, find a game you want to go see. Let's do the Steelers home opener against the Chargers. You find that game, you type or you click the Game Time Picks button, And what Game Time does is it puts every single ticket for that game in their database through a special algorithm that shows you the best deals on the best seats at the best prices so that you don't have to do the research yourself. It does it for you, and then you just find the best seat for your liking there. It's absolutely phenomenal, guys, and I highly recommend you use Game Time picks for whatever event you want to go to. Also, what makes Game Time so great is that they have the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. It's more than just sports, guys. You can go to a comedy show. You can go to a theater performance. You can go to a concert, all right? There's a bunch of different things you can choose from on Game Time. If there's a ticket to something, you can probably get it on Game Time at the lowest price guarantee. Also, they have all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout. I hate when other ticketing apps do that. They slap a $70 fee on you right at the end. That's just absolutely infuriating. Then they also have flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the start of your event. So if you're a procrastinator, you can get even cheaper tickets on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply against just for that first purchase. Create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So here are the potential advantages that you could get from starting Russell Wilson. Now, I'm not even necessarily saying that Russ would be better than Fields, but this would be why you start Russ over Fields. More options in the drop back passing game. All right, right now it's a lot of one read to check down or one read to run for Justin Fields. With Russell Wilson, you might have a chance to go to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 in a full field progression that Justin Fields throughout his career, that's just not really been his strength. With Russell Wilson, he's a longtime pro. If you want to do more in the drop back passing game, I think Russell Wilson's probably your guy. Also, like I said, better and faster mental processing. Justin Fields still leads the National Football League in average time to throw, and he's not throwing the ball down the field that much in terms of a percentage. So, at this point, I do think Justin is a bit slow getting through his reads. I think that's just baked into the cake of who he is as a player. With Russ, you can probably get through your reads a bit faster. I think that the accuracy numbers, on target percentage, all that stuff has shown to be better with Russell Wilson throughout his career. I actually think Justin Fields has been pretty decent with his accuracy to this point, so maybe that one is a little bit lesser of a point at this point in time. But I do think throughout their careers, Russ has been the more accurate passer. Also, I think that throwing in obvious passing situations, Russ gives you a better chance to convert in those situations. He's been doing it his entire career. Justin Fields throughout his career in third and long situations, second and long situations, fourth quarter or 2-minute drill stuff has been awful in his career because when a defense knows he's throwing, he's just not very effective. And then, I think that you look at the clutch numbers, Russell Wilson has been much better in the clutch than Justin Fields throughout his career. So if you're down 3, you need a drive to go and win a football game. I trust Russell Wilson more than I would trust Justin Fields right now. But then you look at Fields' advantages here, and I certainly understand why some people want to stick with Justin Fields for the entire season. You have more options in the QB run game, and the run game as a whole is more dangerous with Justin Fields on the field. That's why I've advocated for him to be the full-time 4-minute drill quarterback, because if you have a lead and you're trying to bleed clock, having that additional rushing threat is super, super important. Also, he has more dynamic arm talent than Russell Wilson. He can throw from a bunch of different platforms and arm angles. You can do some creative stuff there with Justin Fields because he can make every throw in the book. Then also, better play extension and playmaking. We've seen this through the first 2 weeks where if a play breaks down, if receivers aren't getting open, Fields can escape the pocket and he can make a play either with his legs or with his arm. He's excellent throwing on the run. And also, right now, the Steelers are winning right now. So it's hard to take a quarterback out when the team is winning with a current quarterback. And then also, he is much younger. He's got a brighter future, you could argue, than Russell Wilson. So he could be a potential long-term answer. So these are the reasons why you would go with Justin Fields as opposed to Russell Wilson. Now, I will say right now, guys, I do think this Week 3 matchup against the Chargers is going to be pivotal for this Pittsburgh Steelers season, all right? It sounds like Justin is going to get one more opportunity to show what he can do and make his case to be this team's full-time starting quarterback. The Chargers are a 2-0 football team. They play a physical brand of football. Obviously, you're going to be at home. I think this is a very winnable football game for the Steelers, and I really do expect the Steelers to win this, even with Justin Fields under center. So listen, man, if he starts in Week 3, and it looks like he's going to, if he plays well and the offense gets over 20 points and he secures a third straight win and the Steelers are sitting at 3-0 with him under center, I think you got to stick with him as the QB1, and he may be the best answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win as many games as possible during the 2024 season. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you're happy to be at 2-0. I know I certainly am, and it just makes it even better that the Ravens and Bengals are sitting at 0-2. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you're happy the Steelers are 2-0. So now before I go here, I do have one more player that I want to talk about in this show, and it's not a quarterback, but I just thought that, after watching the film from yesterday's game, I really was impressed with him, and it was rookie right tackle Troy Fautanu. I thought he was very impressive in his first NFL start at right tackle. He didn't allow a single pressure in the entire football game. But for somebody that was in his first ever NFL action, man, I thought he played a really, really clean football game. No pressures allowed in the pass game. He was really, really clean in that regard. Obviously he played left tackle in Washington. He's making the transition back over to right tackle where he played in high school. Looked super comfortable on that side. And then also as a run blocker, he looked really good as well. He had only one loss on the day, according to Pro Football Focus, and even PFF gave him the MVP of the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So kudos to Troy Fautanu. I do think that he is your long-term answer at right tackle. At this point, I'm not even thinking about putting Broderick Jones back in the starting lineup. And then another rookie that played really well is Zach Frazier. He looked really good again, man. I can't wait to see what the official PFF grade looks like on him. But watching the film, he was really, really solid in both areas of his game, pass protection and run blocking. Once again, I think the Steelers found a gem here with the rookie out of West Virginia. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. The Steelers have a top blank offensive line in the NFL right now. I think with Sayamalu, whenever he ends up coming back, and with Fautanu entering the fold here, I think you could say borderline top 10. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Am I crazy for that? Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments. And make sure you click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. We have Steelers Talk Live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, man. So we got a bunch to talk about today. We're previewing that Chargers game in Week 3, my official score prediction, keys to victory, all that great stuff. So if you want to come hang out and talk some Steelers with us here on Victory Monday, click that subscribe button and join us for Steelers Talk Live.